Well, hello me chums, hope everybody's well. Hope you've been getting out, getting some fishing done. Weather's been quite good. Tides are quite small at the moment, it's a bit of a problem getting out fishing. I've been out a couple of times collecting bait, got some sand eels, a few mackerel and stuff, but I didn't bother filming that. Thought you'd probably be sick of mackerel by now. I did have some requests on the channel. I can't, off the top of my head, I can't actually remember who it was. I think it was Robert Petch. And another lad asked us about the 2-hook loop rig that I use on the beaches. So what I decided to do was put a little video together for you, showing you how I tie that and what you need to tie it. I'm not the best at doing close-up intricate stuff, so I do hope the video is okay and I hope you learn something from it. I hope it's not too complex, too over your head. It is an easy rig to tie and it is very effective, great for casting any distance and also bait presentation as well. So without further ado, let's get on to the video.
Are you ready?
So this is everything that you're going to need to make this rig. You're going to need SRT springs, bait stop, but that's optional, crimps, cascade swivel, hooks, in this case size 2 Arno Aberdeens, which I love, and beads to trap everything together. You're going to need a size 10 swivel. These are size 10 power swivels, they're rated to 100 pounds break and strain. You're going to need 2 size 14 power swivels. You're going to need a little genie clip to clip your rig down. Now the lines, main rig body that I use, this is personal preference only. I use the ASO Ultraflex. No way sponsored by them at all. This is just the stuff I've used for a long time. This is the rig body. Now this is for flatfish fishing and scratching. This is 60-pound break and strain, which is, let me have a look, it's 0.70mm in diameter. Bear in mind that the crimps that I'm using are 0.885, so I know they're going to fit on this line no problem. I think these fit up to about 80-pound line, these crimps. The hook length, I'm going to use 25-pound ASO Classic. Now again, this is personal choice. I use 25-pound for the surf when I'm on the beaches, so it's got less chance of tangling. Some people use more. You can use 30-pound, you can use 35-pound, totally up to you. Got to bear in mind that it will affect the movement of the hook bait and obviously the strength, but if you go too light on the surf beaches you get a lot of tangles, so I would recommend a minimum of 25-pound for the surf beaches. If you're fishing in a river where there's no surf and it's just tide, you can get away with 15-pound if you wanted to for scratching, which is what I used to do back in the day when I was match fishing. So that's the lines. The tools we're going to use, a rig puller. You don't have to have one of these, but it does save your fingers. We're going to use some crimping pliers. Again, you don't have to. You can get away with this type if you want, if you're careful. Just be mindful of how much pressure you're putting on when you're tightening the crimps down, because if you do crimp the line too much, you can weaken it significantly, and if it's on your rig body and you cast, you're in danger of snapping that main line. Your lead could come off, cause an accident. So I do recommend these if you can, but if you haven't got them, just use these and just go careful, you know, take your time. Okay, so we've got everything that we need here. So what we're using is we've got the imp, we've got 2 size 2 hooks, 4 crimps, the size 10 swivel, size 14 swivel, and the cascade. And we'll have 1 bait stop, which is something you don't have to have this on the rig, but I'll show you what it looks like. So the first thing that we're going to do is get a ruler, get your main rig body, not that one, get your main rig body. We'll take this off for now, put that over there. Right, the whole rig, I want it to be 4 foot. So obviously upstairs in the rig making room I've got a kind of gauge where I can just pull my line across, but obviously here we're using this. So as we all know, 12 inches is a foot, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got 4 foot there. And what I'm going to do to allow for knots, I'm going to put another 6 inches on there, so we've got 4 foot 6. And we're going to trim that off just there and put that to one side. Okay, so first things first, I always start at the bottom of the rig. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our imp. Now with this imp you can attach a swivel to a clip swivel on here if you want, so you can clip the imp on, but I just tie direct. Again, I'm fishing for flatfish mainly with these rigs, so I don't mind if it's, you know, as long as it's secure. So this is the hook, the knot that we're going to use. What you do is you make a loop, like so. Hope you can see that all right. Make a loop like that, and then we're going to take this around 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to take this tag end back through the first loop that we've created, like so. And then we're going to start pulling that tight. Moisten it a little bit. Let's put a little bit of moisture on there. Hold the imp. Slowly start cinching it down. What I'll do then, I'll just use my teeth then to pull it down a bit. So we're going to cinch it down and pull that knot tight. And then we're going to pull this knot tight, which I always use my teeth for. Probably shouldn't. So that's that fixed there. Nice, neat, little strong knot. It doesn't come off. It's never failed us ever. We're going to clip that off. Just like that. That's just shot off into the coffee machine somewhere, I think. Right. So now we're left with 4 foot odd of the main rig body. Okay. So first of all, we're going to take a cascade. Sorry, not a cascade. We're going to take a crimp. Put that on the line first. You can see that. Then we're going to take our small glass bead. Just like so. Let that go down. Followed by your size 14 swivel. Followed by yet another glass bead. There we go. Followed by another glass bead. Followed by another crimp. And we're just going to pop that crimp on there. So what you should end up with is this affair here. But we're not going to fasten anything down at the moment, we're just going to leave everything as is. Then we're going to do exactly the same again. So, crimp. This is where we take our SRT spring. This is the only difference with the top snood. So take an SRT spring. And we're going to slide this down as well. And keep my hands still. Be a little bit fiddly to these. So there you go. Slide the SRT spring on, followed by a glass bead. I can't seem to keep my hands still. It's really hot in this kitchen today, it's really hot. And we're going to take our size 14 swivel, pop that on there, glass bead again, Bosch, and finally your final crimp. So at this point you should only have your hooks left, your cascade swivel and your size 10 barrel swivel and your bait stops. So let's have a look at this in its totality at the moment. So this is what it looks like. Okay, so you've got your imp on the bottom, then you've got your bottom snood attachment. So you've got your crimps, your bead, and your swivel. This is the one that's going to be at the top. So you've got your crimp, SRT spring, bead, swivel, bead, crimp. Next point, next thing, we're not going to put any hook snoods on yet, we're leaving everything loose. It's the best way to do it, trust us. So you're going to take your size 10, which is going to be the top of your rig, which you're going to attach to the clip on your main line. You're going to take a good, probably, to make it easy for yourself, take a good 6 inches of line, and we're going to repeat that same knot that we did earlier. So what I'm going to do, you can slow this down on YouTube if you're watching it. Make a loop like this, turn the tag that way, so you've basically got that. That's what you're looking at. Okay, pull that down a little bit, make the loop a bit smallish, and then we're going to go around this 4 times. 4 times is way enough for a rig like this. It's not a power casting rig. The knots never ever come away on me. I don't think I've ever had any of my knots come away from me in 40 years of fishing, to be honest. Well, probably when I was younger, yeah, but not in the last 30 years. So I'm going to put some saliva on there, just get it down, and then I'm just going to pull it tightish with my teeth, and I'm going to slowly start nipping this up and pull with my teeth. And that's the knot there. It's not the neatest little knot, but it's a very strong knot, and the fish don't seem to care. So pull it as tight as you can, but don't worry too much because it will tighten down. What I will do is when I take my tag end off, I'll just leave a couple of mil just for movement. It's as safe as houses. I would use my pulling tool on these, but they're quite small, you can't get it through. I do have a homemade one that's slimmer, but I sometimes do it with. So if you want to make sure that the knot's good, you can always do that, but that'll tighten up quite nicely. Right, so basically what we've got now, got an imp, we're bottom snood, top snood, and then going all the way up to the top. The main rig's finished off. So that's the rig body ready. Now we'll move on to the hook snoods. Okay, so for the hook snoods, as I said, I'm going to use 25-pound Asso Classic. It's a good line. It's cheap, cheerful, and it's just a good line. And it's again, it's never let me down. I do use amnesia as well. I just thought for ease of use, I grabbed what I had, but I do use this quite regular because it's a lower diameter than amnesia. It's a lot easier to get me floating pop-ups on and things like that if I do a pop rig. So what we're going to do, get your hook. Now what I like to do with the hooks, these are, as you've probably noticed, I use all Ben Arnold stuff, Arno hooks, mainly because it's absolutely excellent stuff, and please go and check it out, well worth looking at for making your rigs. So what I'm going to do, get my hook like this. If you look at the hook, it's straight. Now I don't like my hook straight, I like an offset. So what I do before I put my hook on is just give that a little twist. If I can grab it with these, I normally use pliers but I don't have them at hand, so I'm going to try and use these instead. So just get the shank of the hook, hold that as tight as I can, and just start giving it a little twist. Now if you look at that now, there's a very slight kink in it. It's just offset. That's exactly what I like. Reason being, when you pull into the hook, if you've got a little offset, see how it's catching your hand? So I'll put that there. See how it catches in my hand? Don't want to do it too hard. It's catching it in my skin there. When there's no offset in the hook, the whole thing just slides on your skin like this. Which means if it pulls across the fish, you're not going to get a hook up. But when you've got that slight offset in, it catches. Something I've done for years. Well worth looking at. You don't have to do it, but it does work for me. Anyway, I'm babbling on. I'm just trying to give you as many tips as I can as I go. So again, tie your hook on. Now you can use, there's loads of different knots you can use. I don't know the names of them all because I've never bothered, but you've got a blood knot. Well, actually, we'll do a blood knot here, an easier one for you. So if you look at this one, just get the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times round, and just go through here. Now, before I pull this tight, I just want to let you know something. When I pull this down, the tag is going to be pointing down, the cut tag. If you're using worm, the best thing to do, in fact I'll do it, is we're going to go through this loop, and then we're going to go back through again. I'll just get that, and my teeth again. I'll just wet it. And what will happen is, we'll end up with a tag end that sticks out. So we'll pull this tight, just cinch it down when it decides to move. It's quite a hard knot to get going, this one. So we'll pull it down, get the pulling tool, and then just slowly pull that tight. Grab that bit. Just watch what you're doing when you're pulling your knots down, especially with the hooks. So we've got the knot there. Best as you can see, it's a strong knot. It'll pull even tighter than that. It's quite dry, this line. But see how the tag end is sticking up over. So when I trim it, I'll trim it leaving about 4 or 5 mil. And you'll see the tag end sticks up, and what that does when you put your worm on, so when you thread your worm up the hook, it acts as a little bit of a retainer. Stops the worm falling back down. And a little tip for you. Right, so this one's going to be the bottom hook snood. That knot will pull tighter. There you go. So I think that one's a tucked half blood knot. I could be wrong. I don't care about names of knots. I just know what works. So there's that one. Now what we're going to do with this is going to be the bottom snood, which is going to hold the cascade. So I'm going to use it as kind of a bait stop. So what I tend to do is I'll measure. I want it to be around, the baits I'll be using will probably be around 4 inches long at maximum. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this at 5 inch, like so. So cut that at 5 inch. There you go. We're going to take the cascade. Now make sure that you put the cascade on the right way around. It's a common mistake. Don't make sure that the barrel of the cascade is tied this way, because when you come to clip it up, it'll be upside down and you won't be able to. And it's hard to explain actually, but I'll show you when we put it together. Do not attach your cascade that way to the bottom bit of the snood. You want to attach it that way up. Okay, so again, I mean, you've seen enough of the knots, so I think you get the gist. Just make your knot. I'll just do a little blood knot in this one. This doesn't have to be super strong either, because the amount of fish, the fish that we're targeting, which is normally flatfish with this rig, or even codling, they're not going to pull this knot through. So we'll just do a blood knot on this one. So I'm going to pull that tight-ish. I'm going to wet it. I think the pulling tool, I can't kind of get it in there. Normally it's easier, and when you're grabbing the hooks, grab them like this don't put your hand on the shank when you're pulling knots tight. So there we go. So that's ready to be clipped. That's the bottom part of your bottom snood. Okay. I know it seems really long-winded, this rig, but it's worth it. Once you get the hang of them, they're really quick. It's just me trying to explain things to you. So the overall length of the rigs that I want are going to be 20-inch snoods. So we've made this snood, and we said it's obviously clipped down a bit. We're going to say that's 4, but with the length of the hook you've got 5. So when you're measuring your rig, your hook lengths always measure from the end of the hook to the end of the line. So for this one, I'm going to want another 15-inch of, doesn't have to be exact, another 15-inch of line, because I want the snoods to be around 20-inch mark. What you can do is measure the 20-inch snood off first and then do your cutting, so that you're cutting 5 inches off the bottom. So, yeah, where have I put it? Here we go. So to this, we're going to attach the rest of the line. Everyone does these rigs different. I mean, somebody might have a better way, faster way of doing them, I don't know. I'm just showing you because I've been asked by some of you lovely people to show you how to do it, and I will oblige, because if I can help, I'm more than happy. Right, let's get to the point where I don't have to wet these because I'm so sweaty. The lines are getting wetter and wetter. So we're going to pull that tight again. Let's pull that down. There you go, nice and tight. Clip that off. Always leave a little bit for your shrinkage, if we can call it that. Is that the right thing to say? I don't know. Just for pulling tight. So basically we've got our first hook. Now this, because this distance here also acts as a bait stop. So you've got your tag there, what we just discussed before, and you've got this to stop the bait flying up the hook, so you can basically fill that with bait. I wouldn't really recommend that long a bait when you're fishing for flounders, like not with one hook on this end, but it just stops it going up too far. Ideally, you'd probably want it to be about here, but that's what we've got. Sorry if that's getting blurry there. Right, so that's the bottom snood done. We'll do the other snood first. So the other one's really simple. Again, let's offset this hook. Put that slight kink in it. There we go. Slightly offset. Right, so our second snood now. First thing we're going to do is, this is optional, totally optional, is I'm going to put my bait stop on. These are Arno bait stops as well. Absolutely fantastic things. Love them to bits. So we're going to put these on, or this on. So we're going to get the end of the line here, and we're just going to feed it through like that. Grab the bait stop. Fantastic things these. Love them to bits. And then just pull. There you go. It comes off. That's our bait stop. That's going to stop the worm flying up the hook. So then we're going to take our offset hook. I'll just do the blood knot as well. I'm not going to tag this, so I'm going to show you what happens if you don't tuck the tag on this one. So we've got it there. We're not tucking the tag this time, it's just going to go through. A little bit of moisture. Get the hook pull up. We're just going to ease this down. Cinch it down. There we go. So you've still got a tag, but this time the tag sticks out the side. It will still retain bait, but it's not as good as the tucked. So we're going to take that off. So there we'll have the hook and a lovely tight sliding stop for the bait. Fantastic. Now I'm going to measure this out from hook. That's 12, another 8. So we're going to go 8. There we go. That's nice 20-inch snood there. Get a bit tangled up now. Clip that off. Right, and now we've got both our hook snoods, both 20 inches long. One's got the bait stop on for the top, and the other has got the cascade on for the bottom, which is going to be clipped down. Right, so what we're left with now is we have our two hook snoods, two 20-inch hook snoods, and the rig body. Now remember, we haven't done anything, we haven't fixed anything in place for the rig body yet, and there's a reason for that. So basically all we need to do now is put the two together, and we're going to get our rig. So first of all, I'm going to start with the bottom rig. So get your bottom barrel swivel. Again, I must stress, do not fix anything in place until you've done this part. So you're going to get your barrel swivel, we're going to attach this. Simple, really simple blood knot. Nothing fancy at all. These rigs aren't built for strength, to be honest, but they're still not going to, you can land some pretty big fish with these, and the knots will not fail you. They've never ever failed me. I'm going to go through there. I'm going to moisten that one, and then we're just going to pull that one tight. There we go. That one's fixed. Take the tag end off. Hopefully all this is nice and clear for you. It's difficult filming so close. Right. And we're going to get our top barrel swivel now. Remember, it's your size 14s that you're tying to. Don't, when it comes to the top, don't put it onto the size 10. And again, we're going to go through the loop, through the swivel, sorry, to our blood loop, which is the simplest knot in the world, but it won't let you down. Take it back through, moisten it up, and then we're just going to pull that tight. I like to try and grab the swivel with my nails if I can. Ease that down. There you go. I sometimes put plastic tubing across the knots as well to protect them, but it's just excessive really, you don't need it. But it would protect the knots quite a lot if you're worried about them scraping on shingle. I mean, you should always, when you're fishing, you should always check your knots every now and again anyway. So what we're left with, this is difficult to show you in such a small space, but what we're left with is we've got the rig, the main rig body, the hook snoods are tied on, but they're not fixed in any way, shape or form, because that's going to become apparent in a minute, which is going to be a challenge to show you that bit. And there we'll have the top section there. Okay. So what I'd like to do first is put a lead on the end of the imp. And just a word on the imp as well, make sure when you're using these that you put them on the right way round. And you see this this tag here, that needs to always be facing up, because that's where your lead's going to go on. So your lead hook's on here. If you put it on upside down, obviously if you fasten it to this round bit, it's not going to work. I have done it before, and disclaimer, I actually did it in this video and had to cut this off and put it back on because I put it on the wrong way. So make sure it's the right one, and it should look like that. Okay, so I like to get a lead and just clip that on. So we've got this, so that's how it's going to sit. The way these work, if you haven't used them before, is you clip this little hook here, you clip your hook from your rig through there, it pulls that back, and when that's pulled back like that, the impact of the water pushes it further back, so it kind of sits like that. When it hits the water, it's hard to show you really, isn't it? When it hits the water, it pushes that right back and releases the hook against the side of the metal here. So basically the hook sits like that in that, and when it hits the water, that comes up and fires the hook off. So normally I would hang these up on a peg on next to the door or something like that, because I find it easier to get tension. So I want this to fish one up, one down. So basically that means that the bottom snood needs to hang below the lead. So what I tend to do is I'll fix this first one about 2 inches from the bottom. Then all I'm going to do is I'm going to take the crimp pliers and we're going to fix that there. About there. That's fixed there. Okay. So that's about 1.5 inches, 2 inches off the bottom. And then we're going to slide the rest of it down. Let's get the other stuff out of the way so it's a bit clearer for you. So then this one can actually be fixed tight. So you can fix that into place now. So we're going to crimp it again. If I get the right crimp this time. There we go. So there we'll have that one. That's how it's going to look. So if I try and show you this way, so that's fixed there, and then you go all the way down to the cascade and the hook. So that's our bottom hook length. That's how it's going to fish when it releases. Right, now for the top one, what we need to do, and this is going to be difficult to show you as I'm sitting down, but we'll try. So attach your hook into there. As you'll see, you'll have a loop line here. So if you pull that loop tight, you end up with this array. It's really difficult to show you, so if I pull it tight, you end up with this. So that's all streamlined and ready to go. As you can see, the cascade, the bar of the cascade is pointing down over, which is ready to receive the hook from the top snood. So what we'll do is we'll put the hook through there. So this is the top snood hook, and then let that loop go. I'm hoping you can see this because I know it's white and this line's clear. So we've got the two hooks like that, and we're going to go right up to the rig until we hit the swivel. So this is where we're going to have to fix it, but we're going to have to get the tension right. This is the hard bit to show you. Okay, so we'll have the top hook clipped in to the cascade, and we've got our loop from the bottom snood. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and trap it off camera here, so you can see what I'm doing. I'll put something heavy on top of there. What you're going to do is you're going to pull this snood tight, so the whole rig's tight. I don't know if you're getting that. So we're going to create some tension in the SRT spring. Make sure everything is nice and tight. I'm going to hold this, and I'm just going to crimp this down. Sorry, it's going off camera, isn't it? So, a little bit of tension. Take that down. And take that down. So that's crimped. You see that? So I've got the weight to the imp. Bottom hook's clipped up. There's your swivels there trapped up to the cascade. Second snood attached to that. And then as we go up the rig, we have the crimp SRT just under tension, not too much, just under tension, and the swivel. So all that remains to do now is to bring this one down, and we're going to trap this top one. Now, when you're trapping the top one, make it as tight as you can. This is my experience of it anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit more, sorry I keep going off camera because I can't see it, sorry. What I'm going to do is put a little bit more tension on the SRT, just by trapping that, just compressing it a little bit more, as you can see there. So that's compressed a little bit more, and then we're going to fix that in place. So, a little tension, a little bit more, crimp, job's good. So, what we'll have now is our bottom snood. So all you have to do, you just clip up on your imp, like so. Take your top snood, attach it to the cascade, like so. And then you would have that on your mate. This would be going to your, obviously hanging on your rig ready. So you've got that tension, as you can see. Yep. Now, the best way I can show you here is just the two hooks together. So, when this impact goes down, it's going to release the bottom hook. Yep. I hope that kind of explains the rig. It is difficult to sit down and do this. The easiest way to do when you're setting the top snood, easiest way to do it is to get your tension on your bottom hook like this to your cascade, then attach your top hook to that, hang the full rig on something so the weight's keeping it taut, and then set your tension for the top hook and then crimp. That is the easiest way. I've probably bamboozled a lot of people by showing you it like this. I know it's a bit more fiddly, but that is the rig in its entirety really. It's once you get up to speed on them, it's a very quick rig. It's just obviously I'm trying to explain how as I'm going. I know that a lot of people don't like the rig in the review videos, but I have been asked about this one, and I do have a review video coming up as well, which is pretty impressive, which is some product that I think you'll really like, which I'll do at a later time. But yeah, so basically that's the rig in its entirety, and then basically I'll just whap it onto rig winders, keep it nice and neat, so when I need it I can just take it out, or just fill it up and put some pipe cleaner wire on and put it in a bag or in your rig wallet. But that's it. It's not an expensive rig. I mean, I know you need a few bits. If you want any of the components that I've used, you can get these from Arno Hooks, but he doesn't sell direct to the public, so stockists are Lenny's Tackle and Bait obviously has them. You can get them from, I believe, Veals. There's quite a lot of tackle shops that are stocking these now, and rightly so, because they're excellent products. Very cheap, do a great job, and I love them. Keep your rigs really, I mean, as you can see how neat and small it keeps these, but they're really powerful. He's now brought out some swivels as well, which, if you're watching, Ben, would really appreciate if you could send us some of those so I can have a look at them, hint, because they look fantastic. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting a hold of some of the swivels to try those, because he's done stainless swivels as well with quite a nice eye on them actually. So I'm looking forward to them. I do have a lot more of his products that I'll be trying in the winter as well. There's kind of dongle hoops and stuff. But that's the rig. It fishes really well for me. The purpose of it is, in case it's basically a 1-up 1-down, but you're clipping it so you can cast it further and it protects the baits a little bit. Now, if I'm fishing somewhere where I need a little bit of distance, I'll switch to this instead of casting and having two baits helicoptering around the main rig body. Plus, I believe that when you're using this system, the bait arrives on the seabed in way better condition and presentation's better as well. So I hope this has helped. If there's anything else that you fancy, that you need me to do a tutorial on any other rigs, I'm quite happy to do it. But I hope this has helped. I know it's been a bit awkward, probably not best with a white background, but I've done what I can. It's short notice. But thank you very much for subscribing and watching the videos. I do appreciate it, and your comments. And if there's anything I can do to help, as I say, just drop me a message and I'll see what I can do. But in the meantime, tight lines, take very good care of yourselves. Toodles for now.